Hey everybody, how's it going? We're just gonna do a little bike swapping over here and get ready to stream. Gonna pull the pedals off. So first thing we're doing, taking the pedals off the road bike. We're gonna put them on the cross bike here in a second. Alright. That one's loose. They were nice and tight on there too. And pop this one off. Not so tight on that one. Alright. Pedals are off. Let's get it down into the lowest gear. There we go. And grab the back wheel. So we can lift it straight off of here and put it on the back wheel. There we go. Alright. We're going to take the bike bra protector off here too. That is off, and gotta weave my way through here with the other bike. Got a mess, so getting through here with the other bike's not as easy. Alright. Here we have the other bike with almost flat tires on it. Let's start by pulling the back tire off. Setting it off to the side. Drop this one on the kicker. We're swapping bikes for two reasons. One, give me a different saddle to sit on a little bit. And we can also record with the stages off of this one. Now that I've got the DC Rainmaker analyzer tool, it actually records left-right and will compare left-right to the stages, knowing that the stages is left only. The pedals are left-right. I can actually compare just the left side power from the stages to the pedals. Alright, that's on there. I have, for some reason, I'm not sure I remember why, but I've attached just about every bike light that I've got to this bike. So, my stockpile of lights. Here, these are all the lights that were on the seat post and on the handlebars. Get those out of the way. And let's mount the pedals. We're going to mount the pedals quick. Pedals are pretty straightforward for the B Pros. The biggest thing is getting the line. You have to line them up with the crankshaft, the crank arm. So there's a little line on them that you want to line up directly with the crank. And then you have like a, what do you want to call it? Like a, what do they call it? Like a jack nut, I think is what they call it. That you adjust here. Kind of like when you double nut a bolt and pinch two nuts together. It's kind of the concept here is you use that nut to just specifically tighten the crank down with the I gotta adjust this one just a little bit. You want to specifically tighten it down with that pointing perfectly down the crank. I actually got this one not quite right. I want to adjust it just a little bit. I'm being picky about it. Alright, I think I got it good that time. Alright, right side's done. Switching over to the left side. It feels like there's a lot of friction in the drivetrain, so I'm going to lube everything up here before we start too. Hey Zuscana, thanks for the host, I appreciate it. Just getting ready to start riding here. So you came just in time, I guess. We're putting the pedals on this bike and gonna get all three head units recording and do a little riding and a little analysis with all three power devices. Okay. You've been avoiding it? Yeah, it is pretty easy. I did the dumb trainer the other day. I actually did a Zuscana, I did a Z-Power comparison ride. So I rode Z-Power on my Kurt Kinetics trainer yesterday. I guess it was. The tubeless tire, so I'm gonna put some air in it so I don't have issues here. Because it was down to like 15 pounds. Need to buy me some tires for this bike. My back tire is pretty much bald. So, we have got it set up for that. I like my fun little elevator music while we're getting set up. Keep the chill music going. Hey Wesley, what's up? Stages is the third device, yeah, Frank. We're just, the Stages is on this bike. The saddle hasn't been great the last couple days, so we're switching over to this bike to get the different saddle going too. That's one of the reasons we're doing the swap. So I haven't had this bike on the trainer since we had the DC Rainmaker analysis tool that I paid for. The one thing that's nice about the DC Rainmaker tool is it my stage is typically under reads, Westy, because I am stronger on the right side than the left side, and it's only reading the left side. So I expect that will be what we find again today, once we get going. Mine, I've done the analysis enough that we know why mine underreads. Mine underreads because I have a leg imbalance. So I'm about 3% stronger on my right side than my left side. Just lubing the chain quick here, guys. Get a good chain lube going here before we start the ride, and that'll give us a little better reading too. Believe it or not, I noticed a difference when I lube the chain on my power devices too. I'm looking for my my other chain rag. Kind of nice. I got my Bluetooth headphones set up. Could I show the bike with the webcam? Yeah. In a minute when we start riding, I'll put on the side webcam here too. The bike that I'm putting actually on here right now is actually, give me a second. I think I can just show you the bike. The bike that I'm putting on here right now is let me look here, studio mode. Let's see here. Trying to get it to pop up here. Transform. Fit to screen. There we go. This is the bike that is on the trainer right now. So I'm putting the left chainring. I'm sorry, putting the pedals on it. I just got the pedals on. And let's see what else we gotta do here. Give you a nice larger image here. There we go. What tire? I mostly run the WTB Nanos, 70 by 1 or 700 by 40. Nanos is the main tire that I run on this bike. Oh, working on getting a few more things set up. All right. It's gonna get loud here on the mic for a second. I'm gonna move the bars back a little closer. All right. So the next things I want to get set up is the bike computers. Turn on my fan for my kicker. Because I remounted the pedals, we want to get a good calibration on the pedals. And sorry, my mic's going to be a little loud. I had it cranked way up because I was moving around the room and stuff. Turn it down a little bit. Oh, it feels different being on a different bike, different saddle. All right. There it goes. Shifting's a little funky. All right. That feels good. Let's get some Zwift going here. Whoa, 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 what's going on here? Yeah, we're just getting started. Alright, so what we are doing here, you see all kinds of power meters here. Okay, so we've got all power meters logged here. Why is there always so many people on London versus Watopia? So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna get this set up to record the getting this set up to record the stages. This one's gonna record the stages. I'm putting it down here. Alright. So my watch is set up to record the stages. This one's gonna record the pedals. Get a little bit of push in the pedals. I'm gonna calibrate those quick. Calibrate the pedals. Turning the GPS off. Okay, we got the pedals calibrated. Trying to figure out why Watopia is always so much less people. What do we want to do? Volcano Flat? Just do some rides? I guess that's all we're gonna do. Got a little block on there. Where's my display capture thing? There it is. That's what I wanted. Hey, Hindi, what's up? All right. So I'm going to calibrate. I'm going to do one hard kick here, and then we're going to go calibrate everything quick. Now we got to calibrate the stages and the B Pros, both. Calibrating the B Pros. It's a little bit harder on the watch. B Pros calibrated. Pages is calibrated. All right. Now we're going to start all three workouts, or all three devices. I'm not really doing a workout, so to speak. So we are going to start. We got all three of them going. There we go. Got my Bluetooth headphones on today, which are pretty nice to ride with, actually. It's the first time riding indoors with them. And I guess we should get you guys a little better music, huh? let's switch this up now that we're done working on the bike and we're riding. Alright, we got the filters set up better now, I think. So we should have the mic and stuff set up good now. Just riding a little bit. Nothing in particular on the plan for tonight. This bike's a little louder than the other one. It's been a while since I've ridden this bike. Yeah, Westy, just got a little more rattle to it. Honestly, I've got the headphones a little different tonight too, so that's probably part of it too. I don't have my ears plugged. Part of the difference tonight too, riding this bike, is I can get down in the aero position on this bike. I've got the clip-ons on here. New spacers tomorrow. No more fixed gear, huh? You can actually freewheel again. That'll be nice. Where they mess with the color. I want more orange. You can definitely see the big power difference right now. I'm running a 45-55 left-right balance. I actually need to do a calibration here. Doing a dynamic calibration, which will help with the left-right balance as well. It's important that that is right for this. Yeah, I do ride the Tron a lot. Gotta get the shorts adjusted here. But I do like the disc. That distinct look of the S5 and the disc. I race a lot. Disc is not allowed in Super League. Neither is the Tron, actually. We're told which bike to ride for the Super League. I think other than the teams that have a sponsorship, we're all on the same bikes. I try to do a lot of Zone 2 long rides. Dirty Pirate Man. Really, a ride like this should be Zone 2. I'm just not feeling it today. So, this one will probably stay mostly Zone 1. How's everybody doing this evening? I'm not getting much air when I'm down on my aero bars. It's really hard to overdo it, Dirty Pirate Man. It really is. I mean, you gotta recover somewhere, but can't really do too much as long as you're not pushing injury or hurting yourself. Wishing it was warm out. Yeah, Zuskana. I can second that. So guys, I'm wearing, you can see these, the Trex Titanium. You guys want some nice headphones to wear outside. These are the bone conducting headphones. And they sit right in front of your ears. You can see that. They sit in front of your ears, kind of pressed against your sideburns almost, and you can hear them in your ears, but they don't cover your ears at all from hearing things outside. They're great for riding outside, being able to hear traffic and stuff like that still. Trex Titanium, but they're Aftershocks, I think. There's a lot of different words for them. Hey, Frontline. There's the, if you look for any of those terms, you'll find them. This is the first time I've hooked them up to the computer because when I was working on the bike, I wanted to be able to hear the music, hear the message alerts, but not be on a cord, and they are pretty awesome for that. Three different rope dart tutorials. Oh, yeah, that's right, Zuskana. You're doing that rope dart stuff. Way different stuff. But you're getting into that cut time, right, Zuskana? Time to start cutting. You've been building some, bulking up. Yeah, they're not super bassy, but they do sound really well. They sound great if they come with earplugs. Like if you put the earplugs in while you're listening to them, they sound even better. Like if you can block out the outside noise while you're listening. Hey, Bike Viking, what's up, man? Zuskana is on Mixer. So right now my stage is about 10 watts under my pedals. My kicker for 30 seconds is about 4 watts under my pedals. Frontline, I've been debating about doing that to the Outlaw race. Put my weight at about 350 pounds, put on the TT bike, and just go for it. There are no rules. Mixer is cooler. I do know at one point in the Outlaw race, there was a person not on a bike using an A&T Plus simulator. I'm not even sure that everyone knows that. This bike needs a little, no, not somebody that streams. The Outlaw race truly has no rules. We just have fun with it. So, down the Alp, yeah. Somebody parks at the top of the Alp on Sunday afternoons. We all click ride with that person, who is the Outlaw. They're sitting at the top of the Alp, and we race to the bottom. Down with the Ralphs. There we go. Tuscana, I think we've just got a new term for the race. It is the Ralph. We race the Alp, right? Nice, Indy. Yeah, you can sit in there quite a bit. Just super tucking. You gotta be careful when they get to getting surgy on the downhill. There's like nobody on Watopia. So I'm really shocked. Uh-oh, I need to plug in my phone. I gotta plug in my phone, guys. I thought it was plugged in already. I'll be back. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever try. Alright, phone's plugged in. I'm actually gonna do one more thing quick. I'm gonna kick this other fan on low. Alright. There we go. Get a little more air moving. Need to make some adjustments. Your seat almost crippled you. Yeah, I'm on a different bike tonight. Just a lot of it is for seat reasons. Just getting something a little different. Nerdy Black Cat, Stranger Danger. Look out. How's it going, buddy? This bike needs a little adjustment for the trainer, though. It's not shifting quite as well as I'd like it to. It's a little louder rattling in the back, but that's all right. So what I was saying is I'm surprised. I don't know if you guys are or not, but surprised by this. I'm surprised at how many people are picking not to ride Watopia very often. My mobile app is not picking up my ride. Wonder why my companion app's not working. There goes the companion app. It picked it up now. I've been really surprised by the low numbers on Watopia when I've joined the last few days. London has like 2,600 riders on it right now. Watopia has 700. I don't understand that. Yeah, I agree, Zuskana. I'm really intrigued by the world choice and what seems to be the trend. Now, the other part to that is I would be curious if, so when you log into Zwift, if you always look at, it always defaults to the rotating world, not to Watopia. So I wonder if they defaulted to Watopia, would Watopia have 3/4 of the riders? You know, are people even paying attention to that? You hate cities? Even in your virtual riding, you hate cities, huh, Zuskana? Yeah, Hindi, I think that might be it. I think people just aren't selecting, they're just staying on. So eventually will people like miss Watopia? Because they're always, the rotating world is never Watopia. So maybe after a few weeks, people will miss Watopia and it'll start spreading out a little bit more maybe too. I didn't grab my water bottle. Never been in a... So it's just kind of... Are you saying you've never lived in a real city or never actually been, like, in a big city? Yeah, Wes, London's good for that. I do agree with that. Really, Zuskana, that's... I haven't been a lot, but... And I guess, honestly, I wouldn't have been had it not been for work for the most part. My wife and I have started to travel a little bit more, but not to the big cities, really. Like, we like more of the in-between size cities. Like, for work, I've traveled to Boston, Chicago, a lot. Now it's, Minneapolis a lot. Yeah. We pick more like smaller cities, like we've been hitting different places between here and Bristol. So like we did a few nights in Chattanooga. We did a little bit in Cincinnati. We've done a little bit in Indianapolis. St. Louis. Oh, that stinks, Zuskana. Never seen the ocean. Yeah. I had never really been to the beach much until a few years ago. We went for a few times. Westy, when I'm traveling with the family, I pack the bike, yeah. When it's for work, I typically don't. Because it's just too expensive to fly with it. But family road trips, definitely have the bike. My wife does a lot of mornings with my daughter, like at the pool and stuff, and lets me go ride. So we've got a pretty good balance. Now, I would like to take the bike to Minneapolis and ride in the summer sometime. I always seem to be going to Minneapolis when it's too blasted cold to ride. Minneapolis is a very, very bike-friendly city. Probably one of the best in the U.S. for infrastructure and bike support. So I would like to take my bike there at some point. But it would still be a hassle. Because, it'd be a hassle because rather than taking the commuter train to downtown, I'd have to probably get a cab and with my bike and all that stuff. I don't blame him for that rule. I like that rule, Zeuscana. Little something for everybody. Right now we got 176 coming off the stages for 30 seconds, 183 off the kicker, and 188 off the pedals. You gotta get the hiking in too. I think that's a fair trade. I think that's fair. You feeling better, Tyler? Oh, Hindi, that's a good idea. Yeah, Frank and I need to get together this summer, buddy. So I get close to Frank on my Bristol trips. We need to go crush some gravel, Frank. There's some places around there that I want to try, but I don't want to do them by myself. Get chased off by the bears. So I need a local guide. This bike's a good bike for me to travel with. I've been taking the road bike to Bristol, but when I went to Wisconsin, I took this bike. Just took road wheels and cross wheels both, and I was set up for some gravel stomping and some road riding. When I put the road wheels on this bike, it's only about 19.5 pounds, so it's still a fairly adept road bike machine for road riding too. Oh, you had Amazon Prime and didn't even know it. Thanks for the sub, Frontline. I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Thanks for the support. Right, Hindi. My fear was always riding in the mountains, was going up the hill, right? If the bear comes out above me, I can just turn around. But if the bear comes out below me, uh-oh. Travel down to Moments. I don't know where that is. Is that directed toward me, Westy? I'm not sure I know where that is. Moments. There's a lot of deer around me, Hindi, yeah. Moments, Illinois. Oh, wait. I think I got it now. Moments, Illinois. Okay. I'm understanding a little more now. Is that a town? I'm right in the center of the state. Okay, Moments, Illinois. Okay. I don't know that name, but I'm looking it up. Oh, Route 17. Hold on. Okay. It's actually not terrible for me. A little bit out of the way. About 2 hours from me. That's out there. Yeah. So, I'm southwest of there. So I don't really know that area. But when I pull it up on a map, yeah. But I'm not terribly far from there. Looks like about 120 miles. Okay, yeah. So you're over on the bay, Westy. If you know Interstate 39 that goes straight up the center of the state, you know, go straight north from Madison. If you go straight down 39 through Rockford, Interstate 39 ends about 20 minutes from my house on the south edge. When I go to my sister's, she lives in Merrill, Wisconsin, just north of Wausau. So it's just straight up 39, 6 hours for me to visit my sister. When we go to Door County, we go up past you. So if we go to Door County, we go up around Chicago and Minneapolis, or not Minneapolis, Milwaukee, and up that way. Westy, I've only been once. My wife and I went for a 10-year wedding anniversary. The two of us really enjoyed it, but we wouldn't take the family up there. The kids would be bored out of their mind. But it would be good riding. They got a nice Century up there, I think, in the middle of the summer. I think it would be fun to ride. When we went, I did take the bike, but I didn't do a lot of riding in Door County. I did a little bit. I did ride. We rented comfort bikes one day. There's a state park there with some off-road trails. More like walking trails. But I rented my wife a hybrid battery assist. And I was on a regular hybrid. And she had a lot of fun kicking my ass in the hills. Kankakee is right in that area, Hindi, we're talking about. Kankakee is pretty close to that Moments that Westy's talking about. Davenport. Yeah, Davenport's Quad Cities is about 2 hours from me as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Hindi. Definitely cold in those areas in the winter. So, Hindi, I'm in the Peoria
metro area, which we're Caterpillar country here, and the Quad Cities is John Deere country. We're the Caterpillar corporate headquarters in Peoria. Rumor is they might be moving the official corporate headquarters to Chicago for Caterpillar, but Peoria's been the corporate headquarters for Caterpillar for pretty much forever. So the other big things we've got around us, Bloomington Normal is about, so I live just east of Peoria Metro. I'm about 10 minutes from downtown, and about 20 minutes the other direction from me, maybe 30 minutes, is Bloomington Normal. Bloomington Normal is the corporate headquarters for State Farm Insurance and Country Insurance. For your purchase, Hindi, so you've got to be in some sort of excavating or mining would be my guess. Not very many cat stuff is agriculture. So, yeah, okay. So cat does a little ag, but mostly mining and stuff, yeah. It's all corn in Peoria, yeah. Yeah, all corn. So I've got buddies that I go to church with, Hindi, that visit mine sites in like South America and Asia. So Caterpillar bought Bucyrus, and he actually is in charge of a lot of the really big, what do they call them? The shovels? Like the shovels that have the big scoops on them, on the scoop chain, and like each scoop is the size of a dump truck. It's fascinating how big, I mean, just enormous the equipment is. Right, exactly, Hindi. Like, he's got a picture of like a dozer next to one of those. Like the D10 dozer will fit inside one of the buckets.
We gon' burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
So Hindi, I gotta remember where everybody's at here. I got so many people dropping in now. Hindi, you're Western Canada, right? Southwest Canada? Is that right? Interior British Columbia, okay, yeah.
Go crazy, berserker.
So when you say hard rock mining, you're talking about like blasting and stuff, right? Like limestone, granite, blowing shit up, right? Lots go boom here, yeah. And there's nothing hard like that where I'm at. Everything here is very soft, fertile soil. I mean, I find it interesting when I go to the Blue Ridge Mountains and Bristol, Tennessee area, you know, for them to build a highway, they're blowing out rock, and, you know, people have rocks poking up in their yard that they mow around. Like that's not a thing around here. Everything is soft, tillable soil here. Lots of clay, black dirt, very fertile. You're about 4 hours north of Vancouver, okay. Power check real quick. 181 on the pedals, 178 on the kicker, 173 on the stages. Those are 30-second numbers. Oh, that'll be fun. Pirate. Oh yeah, so what you've got is that stark contrast, like where the glaciers pushed up soil ahead of them, but stripped the soil off behind them. So like every place a great glacier stops, you've got this pile of fertile soil, right? So we're going to change the topic here, and this is going to be geology talk with CX Strix. And see how much of his high school geography he can remember in science class. Yeah, you gotta take care of the family, Pirate Man. My wife and I have talked a lot about being that we both, well, I work from home, and she could not work if we chose to. We had talked about relocating to a nicer, different area, somewhere we would enjoy the scenery a little more and stuff, but our older kids are here, and they'll probably stay here. Both of our parents are within 10 minutes of us, so while that would be pretty cool, I think we're pretty well planted here for now. Unless the job forces us somewhere, we'll stick around. Oh, wow. I think Deadpool Miller might be a little crabby. Did you see that? The, all you D-cats riding A in the 3R race can rot in hell. Wow. Yikes. I've had those times in races too, though. It's really hard to hold your tongue sometimes. Oh, nice, Indy. I'm more of a dark beer drinker myself. I'll drink wine. My wife's starting to dabble in some wine a little bit. And she's getting there. She started with, you know, everything's got to be super sweet. But she's starting to get a little better. Ah, nurse practitioner, yeah. Yeah, you can't move the car wash. Build you up a car wash empire, Dirty Pirate Man. Leave it for the kids. I've got two friends on the mini map just ahead of me. I don't know who they are yet. I know who one of them is. Mr. Blankenship, thank you. He's a St. Louis local. Evan. Something's really loud in the drivetrain on this bike. Yeah, Caymans would be cool. Are they in need of a car wash, Empire? Yeah, it is awesome, Dirty Pirate Man. One of, you know, some people that I truly call friends, I met through Zwift. I've met in real life now too. You know, you guys, you know, are kind of my posse here. Then I've got some good teammates like Kim Little, some of those guys, Frank Garcia, that I built friendships with over the years through Zwift, that these people I'll probably always be connected with and stay in touch with. Yeah, unfortunately I think that's the case in a lot of places, and a lot of people are finding this is the safest way to ride. Frontline. Yeah, Pirate Man, like you guys here, you know, we're talking about traveling and that. Like, I would not think twice. I would not think twice if I was traveling near one of you guys to hit one of you up privately and be like, guys, let's meet up for a ride, man. Let's do something. I'd love to have a beer with you guys. You know, Frank Deal and I, Frank the Tank here, we got a chance to have a beer together, ride bikes together, and Roanoke. And I'd love to get back together with him at some point. Done that with Scotty Weiss. Kim Little and I went to CVR LA. We went to the World Cup out in LA about a week early and hung out for a week with Tim Fulford, Jesper, and a bunch of guys, man. It was so much fun. You know what, Hindi? Ride with me. If we were ever in the same place, I don't care. You ride. It doesn't always have to be fast. I'll bring the old cross bike. I'll put the 40 mil tires on it. You can ride your skinny tire bike and we'll ride bikes. Hey, bath salts. At this point, I think there just needs to be a little BC get-together up there. I mean, we got all kinds of you guys in the chat now. The guy I just passed there, Todd Hausman, I actually met him through work. He works at my client in Minneapolis, and we found out through working together, he's a local Cat 3 racer up in Minneapolis, rides a ton. So, him and I, and one other associate up there in Minneapolis who does a lot of marathon running, the three of us are always emailing back and forth about running and riding. I'm the try guy. I do both. The one's just a runner. The other one's just a rider. Yeah, like Bath Salts is up. He's near Vancouver, right? Not like right in Vancouver, but he's near there. 3-hour drive northeast. Okay, yeah. That's the only way bath salts takes off. Haven't you figured that out yet? Bath salts will always win the first 500 meters of a race. Or of any ride. What is the Alp? 4,000 or 5,000? The power number is 163 on the pedals, 160 on the kicker, and 154 on the stages. 1,200-ish meters. 4,000 feet. Something like that. $3,500 to 4,000. As a route, it's 1,200. Yeah, so that's including the extra climb up to it.
Cracky.
Yeah, sounds like you guys might be close. $450-meter climb, okay. So one of the climbs I do in Bristol, I think ends up being about 2,000 feet of vertical. And it's a hell of a climb. It's probably, well, take that back. I did one in Gatlinburg that was bigger. I'd have to go look up how much vertical elevation I did in that one. If any of you US folks, I climbed the pass, or the what is it, the drive up the Great Smoky Mountains National Park south of Gatlinburg. I rode up that all the way to Klingman's Dome one morning. So it was like 22 miles of climbing and 22 miles of coasting. Oh yeah, I used to live in Gray, Tennessee. I visit Bristol a lot, roughly. Cumberland Gap, I drive through Cumberland Gap on my way to Bristol. But this is down around Gatlinburg. I actually had plans to ride the Cumberland Gap stuff. One time, Frank, we stopped part way. We left after school one day. So we stopped at the Cumberland Gap, at the tunnel. You know what I'm talking about? Like the tunnel through the mountains in Cumberland? For the Cumberland Gap. We stopped at the Cumberland Tunnel there at that town overnight. And the next morning I was going to go do a ride. But it was too foggy. So we just got in the car and drove. That ride that I did in Gatlinburg was pretty awesome because it's a really, really nice road. It's a very popular touristy road up into the mountains. So I just got up at daybreak, like 7 a.m. and headed up the mountain. And traffic wasn't out yet or anything. Got all the way to the top. There was even a walking trail up to Klingman's Dome, like a lookout tower. I rode my bike all the way to the top of the lookout tower. Like the last half mile was like, I don't know, like 16, 17%, like on a walking trail. It was out of the saddle, out of gear for about 10 minutes, getting up that walking trail. But I made it all the way to the top. And then probably the funnest ride ever, coming down. I did, what was it? It's 22 miles. It was something like 40 some minutes where I only pedaled like 4 or 5 times and I averaged like 35 miles an hour. It was freaking awesome. So, roughly, where are you at? You in Kentucky now? Whereabouts in Kentucky are you? If that's the area you're at now. I mean, I'm coming from Illinois to Tennessee a couple times a year. Okay. So we drive either through, we drive 74 across Indianapolis, and we either go down to Louisville or across to Cincinnati, down through Lexington. We take a left turn. We take a left turn at Covington, I think it is, and cut across the Cumberland Gap and Southern Virginia across to Bristol. We drive that all the time. So we stopped in Lexington one time. I can't think of the name. It was this restaurant with awesome breakfast in the strip mall. Like, I looked it up on TripAdvisor. Is yeah, Ramsey's. Oh my god, I ate so much food and it was so phenomenal. So that was the day. You got to remember what day that was too. That was the day when we left the house. I left the house on my bike at 8 a.m. I rode 160 miles. My wife picked me up in Brownsville, Indiana, and we kept driving from there. And that was my dinner. I absolutely devoured everything. Yeah, Ralphie, it was great. So my sister-in-law is from, I gotta think of it. Dry Ridge, Kentucky. Which is probably, I think, an hour or so north of you. It's right between Cincinnati and Lexington. Bristol's nice to ride in. In Bristol, there's a couple good climbs to do there. There's a state route that goes out of Bristol that's pretty awesome. And then there's another one that goes up Roan Mountain. They actually have a road race at Roan Mountain every year too. Roan Mountain goes out of Jefferson City or Elizabethton. I think it's Highway 19 up the mountain. It's an awesome area to ride too. What mic do I use? I saw that question. Hindi. Hindi, I use a, I'm gonna slide it over here. It's a Blue Yeti. So the brand is Blue and the model is Yeti. That's in Lexington. Frankie, at least the one I went to was in Lexington. The other trick that I use with my mic is I apply some filters, and I can demonstrate what the filters do. Blue also makes a blue snowball, which is a very high quality mic, a little bit cheaper than this one, would work just as well. But I apply some really good filters as well. So I'm going to turn my filters off and then turn them back on one by one. So now I've got no filters on my mic. I'm going to mute my music actually too. So this is no filter on my mic with the music muted. And you can hear all my background noise. You can hear my fan. You can hear my chain rattle, all that. I run something called a filter through RIA software that records my background noise and then filters it out. So I'm going to turn on my filter now. So this is with the filter on and nothing else. This is just filtering out the background noise. So if I'm quiet, I can record the filter and it's recording my background noise, and then it works to filter out that noise. So that's the main thing that makes my mic so much better. And then I'll turn on a gate. So I just turned my gate back on. So between the filter and the gate, when I'm not talking, the gate completely closes the mic. And when I am talking, that filter cuts out a lot of the background noise. So a lot of people riding the bike, the biggest struggle is the background noise. It's setting the gate. If you don't have a filter, it's really hard to set a gate because you got so much background noise. You almost have to scream to open your filter. So having that filter on top of the gate really helps clean up the mic opening and closing for me a lot. Yeah, Hindi, so what it does is it essentially records the profile of your background noise. So if I record a profile with my fan off, when I turn my fan on, my fan won't be filtered. So, a lot of guys use the filter even when they don't have all this stuff running in the background. Like a lot of gamers and that, they'll record a filter like that with just their mouse clicks and their keyboard clicks. So the filter will keep the mouse clicks and the keyboard clicks from being as loud. So the gate is simply an on-off switch, basically, Pirate. So what happens with the gate is you set a threshold, and anytime the mic input goes above that line, it makes a connection. And when it's below that line, it closes the connection. So mine are two separate entries, and the filter runs before the gate. So the gate is much more effective because it's running on the filtered audio, not the raw audio. So by the filtering out a lot of the background noise, I can set my gate at a much lower threshold because it's only really seeing the audio that's not filtered. And I can get a much better open and close on my gate too. But the gate doesn't filter anything. It's just basically an on-off switch. Think of it as a decibel switch. And if you set it to 50 decibels, it does not turn your mic on until you cross 50 decibels. Is basically what happens. You don't have to. You can't see it really well on mine. This is an old sock. I just cut the toe off of an old sock, slid it up over the mic. That works pretty well. Yeah, so one other thing that I run, I didn't really talk about that, but I run a compressor. What a compressor does is you set an upper boundary to the compressor, and anytime your audio level goes above that, it compresses the extra. So if I set a compressor at 50 decibels and I speak at 60 decibels, you set a compression ratio. So I went 10 decibels over and my compression ratio is 3:1. So for those 10 decibels over, it compressed them 3:1. 10 times 3, or divided by 3, even though I went from 50 to 60 decibels, it would have compressed it down to about 53 decibels. So it keeps you from getting that real high spike. So, and I'll illustrate that. I'll turn my compressor off and show it to you. I actually use my compressor a lot. So compressor is off now. If I get really close to you, it gets really loud with the compressor. And if I get back, it'll come back down. But it won't bounce the high stuff. When I turn the compressor back on, it should stop the high end part of it. Yeah. So my compressor is probably not set high enough right now. I need to pull it down a little bit. There. That's a little better on the compressor. It'll keep me from going too far over. Yeah, filter, gate, and compressor in that order. So the compressor prevents my screaming from getting too screechy. I'm gonna turn my background music back on. So that's on my mic, a filter, a gate, and a compressor. And if you want to do the research on those, the filters that I run are called RIA plugs. And the RIA FIR, that is the filter. So RIA FIR is the one that does the filtering. These are all free software too, guys. RIA Plugs is a free VST plugin that runs in OBS. So the other thing you'll notice that's happening is when I talk, my music gets quieter. I don't know if you guys have noticed that too. So I've got a different kind of compressor running on my music that, based on the volume of my mic, it compresses or it ducks my music. And they call it a ducking compressor. So based on how loud I'm talking, it turns down the music, and when the mic gets quieter, the music comes back up. But when the mic comes up, the music goes down. So you guys can hear the background music really well when I'm not talking, but it gets out of my way when I'm talking. So if I turn that off, like here, I turn off my ducking filter right now. So my music's staying at constant volume. I'll turn it up a little bit. My music's staying at constant volume here, and I turn it back on, and the music dives out real quick when I start talking. So the music drops quite a bit based on my voice volume. Bath Salts remembers the days when he'd come in here and he'd be like, "You gotta turn the music down, I can't hear you." We got it all sorted out now. Yeah, you can share links. Roughly, I don't get picky as long as it's appropriate and not big time promoting people to do other things. As long as you're not coming in trying to steal my viewers. I appreciate you guys chatting with me tonight. I kind of have got lost in the talk and been riding a little bit longer. Power check, 167 on the pedals, 166 on the kicker, 162 on the stages. See you, Bass Salts. Have a good night, buddy. The music right now is, it's a no copyright playlist off of Yahoo. So it's like no copyright sounds channel off of YouTube, and I think it is like an EDM. Oh no, he's asking into Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. A lot of these guys are in that Edmonton area. Any chance you would do like a max sprint? You'd like to see it on the graph? Yeah, I can do a sprint. It'll be good for the stages compare that I'm doing here anyway. Alright, here we go. Ready? Saw a couple 1,000-watt spikes in there with the shifts. Whew. Yeah, I was thinking here, let's get to 25 miles. I may need to go upstairs and get a plug. I'll see if I can get it off my watch wirelessly first. But, one little kick's no big deal. But I think we can upload here. We'll stay live here for a little bit. And, I'll grab my stool and we'll do some, file comparisons here too. Ah. Oh, this is what we want. So we're gonna stop all these. My watch says my recovery time's 9 hours. We're gonna turn the music down a little bit. Turn the headphones down a little bit. So the one new trick to the new kicker too. You're gonna see my new kicker trick. You need to get your bike out of the way now. All you gotta do. Bike is out of the way. Bring my stool in. Shut my fans off. We can upload some data. I sometimes use the one from Zwift, Westy. They compare just as well. Get you guys a little better audio here too. I'm gonna turn off my filter now on my music. That will help you guys too hear my voice a little bit better. So I got to do a few things here before I can give you guys a screen to look at. First thing I'm doing is, so I plugged in my Garmin. I'm opening up the Element software on my phone so I can download the file off of my Element Bolt. And then my watch automatically uploads to Garmin Connect. So I think my watch one, I think I can go download that from Garmin Connect. What I don't know is if I can pull a fit file from Garmin Connect or not. If I can't pull a fit file, I can go upstairs and grab my plug-in thing for my watch and get the fit file that way. I don't know. I think DC Rainmaker's tool only works with fit files. I don't think it'll work with a TCX. So I emailed that to myself. Today, yeah, well, it was two Garmin's and a an Element Bolt. So we were recording stages, kicker, and pedals. So now I am downloading my fit files. So we've got that fit file downloaded. And let's grab another one. What I need to see here, this may be the one that I've got to... So I'm going to see if I can give you guys here a view here. Gotta swap one setting here, and then I think I can give you guys the screenshot as well. There we go. Okay, we can give you guys this screen now. Top right corner, get the gear. You can in Garmin? Okay. We're going there. We're going to do it here together. So virtual cycling, this was the one. Export original. There we go. And that should be a zip file, right? With a fit file in it. Yeah. Okay. Copy that fit file. Good call. Okay. Right? That worked, right? Okay, yeah, that worked. Okay. Good tip. I wasn't sure if I could do that or not. It had been a while since I'd done that. So, analyze, DC Rainmaker. This is the first time I've done a three-way analyze. I expect the stages to be a little bit low tonight. For those of you that have stages, you get a number when you calibrate. My number is usually anywhere between 900 and 903, and tonight it was 903, which 903 is typically my lowest calibration, or my lowest numbers. When it's down at 900, 901, you see like a 1-2% difference. So I think it's going to be a little low, but a little lower than what I'd like it to be, actually. But that's why we're doing it, right? So this fit file that I'm pulling up now is the Garmin fit file from the stages. So we're going to open that one. We're going to select another file. And we're going to pull this one, which is the one I downloaded from the Element for tonight. And then we're going to select one more, which is actually straight off of the Garmin device I've got plugged in here. 893 is your average. 890 is perfect, right? Yeah, what's the, like, you know, you see those numbers a lot. And mine, like, it usually calibrates 901, 902. I've seen 900 every once in a while, and I see 903 every once in a while. But tonight I calibrated twice and got 903 both times. So, but that's what it's for, right? We're here to test it, so we're gonna test it. And so We threw the files in here, we click create, and okay. One of the files needs to be trimmed. Which one needs to be trimmed? Or no, it's a time thing. It's a time thing, okay. It's just a timing thing. I'm not sure why. So I need to go from all the way over here at the left at like 12:17:57. I need to go up to 19:14. So I need to do like, wow, this is a bit ridiculous. 19 minus 12, 7 times 60. I need to offset this sucker by like hundreds. No, we gotta do, wait, we gotta do 7 times 60 times 60. Okay. I need to offset this sucker by like 500, like lots of seconds. Okay, we're getting closer. So yeah, but mine's on my Garmin watch, Westy. It should be. I mean, it's the right time on my watch. I don't. That's odd. That's all right. We can offset the timing here though. So I'm just looking at this is 1941:39, and so we need to do 22 minutes. Got to do more math. Need to do another 1300 seconds. I'm usually moving these like 1 or 2 seconds, not 1300, so I need to do 26,800. Later, Pirate Man. So what is interesting here, which is not making sense to me, this isn't the right file. I don't know, this isn't the right file. Okay. Garmin didn't sync. I uploaded my ride from last night off of Garmin. Like, wait a minute, this is completely off. My ride earlier today didn't upload from Garmin, so I uploaded it manually. The virtual cycling that I pulled in there was my lunchtime ride. I gotta open my Garmin app. It'll upload my Garmin ride. It's uploading now. It'll make much more sense once this one uploads. I'm being impatient now. It's uploading from my watch. Slow uploading. Get my heart rate strap off. There it went. It uploaded to Garmin too, so I'm gonna have to go, or uploaded to Strava too, so I'm gonna have to go clear out a bunch of duplicate rides. All right, here we go. This was the ride we needed to download the fit file for. This is gonna make much more sense now. Alright, now we can go over to the analyzer tool. We're going to delete this one that we just built. We're going to do a new set. Now, pull the one in from the Garmin. Pull in the downloads. We've got this fit file and the element bolts. I bet they look much better now. Garmin, Zwift has been bad at sending to Garmin lately, Hindi. About every third or fourth ride, I've got to do manually. Getting a little irritated with that myself. So you see here, they pulled in much closer to one another. And the way I check my timing here is I usually pull heart rate. If I look at the heart rate, you can kind of get an idea of where they level off at. They're looking pretty good, actually, on the heart rate. Yeah, they look really close now. So what I do is my heart rates, they're all reading the same heart rate monitor. So I usually look at my heart rate graph to find out, looks like maybe the red one could be pulled back 1 second. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom and I'm going to figure out which one's red, which is this one, and I'm going to subtract 1 second from it. And I'm going to go back into my my heart rate here. No, that's not heart rate. Here's heart rate. So when I pulled the red back one in heart rate, it actually looks worse here. So I'm gonna go put that back on, and I think they might actually be pretty close. Oh wait, I wanted 0. So let's go back to heart rate again. So it's red, purple, and blue. Well, we're about a second off in a few places, but it's not that much. So if we want to look at some power numbers here, like here's a little kick in power in here. The kicker is in red, the B Pro pedals are in purple, and the blue is the stages. So across the bottom, the fit file here is the stages, the element bolt is the pedals, and this is the kicker. So the pedals are a little bit ahead of an average watts on this highlighted section right here. What I really want to look at here is left-right power. So we've got virtual right. Let's see if I can... Let me go down here and see if I can change something. Like, let's go in here. We're going to remove virtual right and left power. We want only left power for that one. Wait, this one. The kicker, we don't want to see left power off the kicker. I'm trying to clean up this left-right graph a little bit here. We got one more we can drop out of there. On this one. Is there a virtual right? No, there's not. We turned off virtual right there. That one's showing virtual left. Okay. And if we go back up here, this is what I want to look at. So we want to ignore the red line. We just want the blue and the purple. The blue and the purple is the pedals in the stages, just the left sides. And those actually look like they track pretty well together. They don't give me averages or anything, though, to get an idea. I'm gonna refresh this. Things are looking pretty good though. I mean, just over the entire ride, you can see here the pedals were about 5 watts above the kicker and about 10 watts above the stages. What gen stages? It's a Gen 1 stages, Westy, but it actually had a water infiltration issue, so I think it's Gen 2 hardware. They replaced the pod and everything, so I think it's technically Gen 2 now. Yeah, power curve. You want to look at the power curve? Power curve looks really good, actually. Let's highlight this. Can we highlight this? So the max power was on the kicker, but I mean 30 watts difference is all it was. But man, up here the stages and the pedals were right on, 10 watts difference, and they are really, really close. So looks like the stages stayed a little higher a little bit longer, and then when we get down here, so down here at 15 seconds or so, the pedals and the stages are right in together. Or I'm sorry, the pedals and the kicker are right together, and the stages is about 10 watts low, 15 watts low right here at 500. But then, like right here at 1 minute, we come back together almost right on. We're within 6 watts maximum, minimum to maximum here. Yeah, down here, 216 for the pedals versus 205 for the stages. So another thing to look at, where is, and it's, I'd probably have to upload it manually. The left-right balance. Just Training Peaks give me that? I'm gonna look to see if Training Peaks give me left-right balance. We'll look to see what my left-right balance is to kind of give you a percentage of what the stages should be off from the pedals, just based on the percentages. Let's drag this down to here. Yeah, my Gen 1 kicker was a little finicky when it was cold, Westy, and I didn't have quite as cold of an environment as you did either. Here you go. Here's your power balance. You guys see that? 46% to 54. So we're 4%. We're 4% off just over the entire ride on left-right balance. So if you get down here and start doing math, so let's say it's 218 to 207. But if you do 218 times 0.96, that's 209. So if you knock 4% off that 218, we're within 2 watts now. We're within 1% if you take away the left-right balance. So I think the stages can really be mostly coughed up to the left-right balance deal. And that's true all the way out here to, so this is 179 to 167. So if I do 179 times 0.96, it's 171. So yeah, we're getting down within 3 or 4 watts if we adjust for the 4%. So you have to reconnect to get your numbers to come in right, Westy? That's odd. That doesn't feel quite right. You are up to date on all your firmware and everything on your kicker? I'm saying that to you. I'm gonna go check my own firmware quick. It's been a while since I've checked mine. So I do want to edit this. I haven't done a stages compare yet, so I'm gonna save this as my stages. You can see down here too the numbers here. Maximum power on the kicker was 1126. On the pedals, or I'm sorry, on the stages was 1074, and on the pedals was 1064. I'm looking up my looking up to my kicker now to make sure I've got everything up to date there. So I think in general I'm happy with the way the stages and the pedals and everything lined up here. Like I said, I knew going into it with the calibration, the stages calibration, and I think Westy, you had said yours is the same way. Like you find this odd little range that it does. I think had it have been like 901 versus the 903 that it calibrated at, it probably would have been right on. But I'm not going to sweat over a couple of percent, knowing that it's mainly left-right balance that is the issue. I am going to go look at that big sprint spike though. Let's look in close at that. Let's get that one super zoomed in here. See what we can see what that one looks like. It actually looks pretty amazingly similar. The kicker has a bigger spike here. Let's go from like this spot to this spot to get a really good the average power across the three of them is really good. The kicker just kicked a little bit harder on that initial hard spike. The other two are like just right in lockstep. The stages held on a little bit harder here at the very end. But I mean, these are 1 second times here. So that definitely can be left-right stuff there for sure. We'll get that open here. So they look pretty good here, just in raw averages. Kicker's got a little more kick to it, and actually that's the earlier generation kickers are a little more generous on the sprint, so I'm not surprised by that at all. This still is really good though, actually. Not perfect, but it's still really good. In overall stats. That one's asking me for a login. That second one.
This is the emergency broadcast system. The CDC is advising that you stay in your home.
We tried. Now see, this is odd here, like your These are the ones that look odd, right? There's this big kick where the kicker is way high, and then like the stages comes in with it. So, well, okay. One thing I would look at doing here, do you see how, are you using the same heart rate monitors and stuff here? I think you need to, you can do, did you see that timing offset that I was playing with, Tyler? Down here, next to the files, you'll have an edit thing where you can offset them. So I use my heart rate to line up my files. It looks like maybe you might be able to offset them a second or two and get them to line up a little bit better. So like this point on the blue, where your heart rate's 170, and then this point on the green where your heart rate's 170, they're like 3 seconds apart. So you could, using your heart rate graph, you can pull up the heart rate and it should almost step perfectly with one another. And you see how these are two parallel lines, but they're like 3 seconds apart. So if you offset one of these files by 3 seconds, one way or the other, you'll get those two lines to perfectly intersect. You see the same thing in the cadence down below. See how the cadence comes and then drops out here, and this one's a little bit off. So your two files are about 3 seconds offset from one another. If you go down here to the bottom, under where these file names are at the bottom, you'll have access to edit these. If you click the edit button in each one of those files, there's an offset number in there that you can do plus or minus, like 1 or 2, 3 seconds, and you can get that. I usually have to move one of my files 1 or 2 seconds to get the heart rate graphs. The heart rate graphs still aren't perfect because the polling frequency could be a little bit different, so you'll still see some odd jagged edges in there, but you'll be able to get them like 98% perfectly overlapping rather than like the parallel lines looking thing. But this little tool's fun. And it gives you some confidence. Like, we can see here what is different about my tools, but also in general, they're reading pretty much the same. We understand why the stages is low. We can prove why the stages is low with the left-right data off of the pedals. If you account for all those things, you get within that 2% variance that all of the advertised power meters are going to be within. So then, you know, I rest on some comfort that, okay, I've got three, you know, fairly high quality, industry respected power meters that all are in line with one another. The odds of all three of them being completely junk is pretty small. So, right, I can be pretty confident now in any one of my power devices being pretty accurate, right? You know, my stages, I know when I'm riding my stages like outdoors and stuff, like it's a couple of percentage low. Do I care though when I'm riding? I mean, I mainly ride that bike outside. I don't pair my stages to Zwift anymore, really, because it's got bad reception in the house too. It drops a lot of signals. So when I look down at my power meter when I'm riding outside and I'm trying to pace a ride or something, if I look down and it says 250 instead of 255, I don't care. I mean, that's close enough, right? When I'm doing the outdoor riding stuff, so I don't get too stressed about that. Maybe it's time for a new kicker, Westy. Just spend some money. That'll do it. That'll solve all your problems, right? And now I gotta go clean up all these files. And I don't know why. Why does this tell me that I had... Oh, my 5-second power on my... So I uploaded all these different files to Training Peaks, and my kicker... It was my kicker power gave me a 5-second max for the year today. So we're deleting all of those, cleaning all those up. We gotta go over to Strava and clean up a few files there. Maybe the spacer. Oh yeah, the spacer. That didn't click with me when you said spacer earlier, but yeah, I think the spacer will help, Westy. I think it'll get you a better spin down. I do. I believe it will make a difference, and I think that could be some of the temperature stuff too. So, well, I gotta think about that. I don't think the temperature would matter with the spacer, but it will get you a better spin down. It will get you a better spin down. So, Training Peaks is cleaned up. The Strava is cleaned up, and Garmin is cleaned up. You want to get it up to operating temperature, Westy. You don't want it to be like, if I do it immediately at the end of a race, like cross the line, do a spin down, it's not perfect because it's too hot almost. But you also don't want to do it when it's not in that operating zone. Typically what I do for my spin downs is after I ride a race and I've cooled down from a race, I'll do the spin down as like the last thing before I'm done. So, and then I don't mess with it. You know, I don't take bikes on and off and mess with my trainer too much. So, I don't worry about redoing that spin down the next time I ride. You know, I'll leave that same calibration in it for a few rides after that. So, I would maybe try that as like, you know, next time you do a good hard ride, get a 10 or 15 minute cool down in it and then do it. That seems to be the trend that I've always done, that I've had the best luck with. I'm trying to connect to mine now, and it's not connecting for some reason. I think my computer might have a hold of it. The hassle to having Bluetooth on your computer is sometimes it likes to grab a hold of things. I don't think I need to wake it up. It's just, I'm not sure what it's doing. That's alright. We can mess with that later. So, I ended up riding a little more than I thought I would. So I got 40 miles in today. I don't think I have to wake it up to connect with Bluetooth, because I can see it in Zwift if I open up Zwift right now. So I don't think that's it. But thanks guys for hanging out. I think most of you guys have kind of taken off for the evening. I'm gonna go check to see if anybody's online. I don't expect any Zwifters to be out there anymore this evening, but we'll go see. Looks like I'm the lone Zwifter now. Yeah, I'm the lone Zwifter, so we're just gonna call it quits for the night, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's been a fun, chill stream. Lots of talking, lots of chatting, some different stuff we're playing with a little bit here, and went as expected. So I appreciate everybody though interacting tonight. It's been a good talk, been a lot of fun, and yeah, I think we're having some good streams here, so I appreciate everybody's support and everybody being here to be a part of it. We'll be here tomorrow lunchtime doing some racing for sure. probably not going to be around tomorrow night. It depends on how my daughter feels. She came home sick from school today, so she's going to go to swim tomorrow night, unless she's not feeling well again tomorrow. So tomorrow night will be kind of up in the air, but we'll do some hard riding, I think, tomorrow lunchtime. And I'll probably leave this bike on the trainer tomorrow and do some more riding on it. Give the sit bones a little something to work on for a couple days, and change it up a little bit. We put a lot of miles in and needing some new relief. So we'll talk to you guys all tomorrow, and thanks for hanging out.